Virtual 11 sonically would be a slight return to their normal upbeat galloping style. They had another creative spike when writing the album. 12 songs were written and 8 were chosen. Oddly enough, Steve chose some of the weakest songs out of the bunch to be on Virtual 11. The title and artwork were influenced by their game that would come out around the same time called Ed Hunter. Ed Hunter was a first-person shooter game where you play as Eddie, while songs from the Iron Maiden albums are played in the background. And the title and cover were based off virtual reality, which was popular at the time and is now only going somewhere now. A lot of the material for this album was written by Steve, and many of the songs are typical Steve songs. The songs repeat a lot sometimes, and they sometimes go through the motions. Melvin Grant returned to do the artwork for this album, and Nigel Green did production again. The album had 2 singles, Future Real and the failure Angel and the Gambler. And oddly enough, there was 2 cover ideas for the Future Real artwork. There was one done by Derek Riggs and one by Melvin Grant. The one you can see on Wikipedia, which is for Melvin Grant's version, is the official version. However, Derek Riggs did a version for it that looks way better. The album also features some prevalent keyboards done by Steve and Michael Kenny. Blaze Bayley had improved vocally for this album, and would use the hard work and vocal power he learned from Iron Maiden in his solo career after this album. During the Virtual 11 World Tour, many of the shows were cancelled because of Blaze having vocal problems again and pollen allergies. This album, along with No Prayer for the Dying, is one of the most hated Iron Maiden albums. Let's jump into the world of virtual reality with Virtual 11. Virtual 11 is definitely one of the worst Iron Maiden albums, and it's definitely not my least favorite, but it's down in the dumps there. It's got a lot of filler all over it, and it seems like the band really mailed it in, especially Steve Harris, mailed in a lot of the songs. So the album came out in 1998, and the artwork is decent. I don't really hate it. I just find the virtual reality aspects of it to be stupid, but I kind of like the Eddie in the burning city. That looks pretty cool. So this will be the last album to feature Blaze Bayley. Now, there's a lot of stuff that changed with this album. The last album was very dark, brooding, atmospheric. This one sounds like they're trying to go for more classic 80s Maiden sound, and I say they definitely achieved that production-wise. The production on this album sounds very good. It sounds very warm. The guitars sound really great. The bass sounds really thuddy and nice. And the drums sound really good this time around. And all the members pretty much give great performances. Even Yannick sounds really good. But the problem is Blaze Bayley, while singing's good on this album, with this album I start to feel okay, please just get Bruce in here, because all these songs sound like they were written for Bruce, especially stuff like Lightning Strikes Twice, where Blaze is trying to hit high notes but can't. But there's a new problem that's starting to rise sort of from the X Factor that, like I said, the X Factor was the archetype for all the later albums, and it's starting to get very bad on this song. Now, the problem started, I said, with... Now, the big problem that I'm about to get into probably started with, Fortunes of War on X Factor, where you have really long songs that are drawn out, and then just have a lot of chorus repeats and waste a lot of time repeating choruses. Well, there are 2 songs in this album that are very long. This is another example of an album where they have more than one, really long epic song. In fact, they got 3 of them on this album, and 2 of them have very bad chorus repetition, and this problem will continue throughout all their other albums. They have songs that repeat a lot and waste time repeating them instead of waste time progressing the song. So we start with Future Real, which is a very kick-ass punchy song, and this sounds like something they would do in Somewhere in Time, where they're all really fast and crazy. The riffs in here are really great. The song is extremely short and to the point. We haven't had a 2-minute song like this in ages. And Blaze sounds really good on it, and the guitar work and everything is really good. The chorus is catchy as hell, and Dave Murray's solo in it is astounding. One of the best songs of the album easily. Then we have the fucking travesty known as The Angel and the Gambler, which is easily the absolute worst Iron Maiden song ever. Pretty much everyone considers it to be. And it shows the epitome of what makes a bad Iron Maiden song, and what a lot of people hate in new Iron Maiden. It's the absolute epitome of this. It's a 9-minute song, almost 10 minutes. It's the longest song on the album, so it's trying to be like the epic or something. The riffs in there are just stupid and bizarre and like experimental. The song doesn't really change that much riff-wise. It doesn't go any interesting places at all. I mean, the best it does is it goes into a middle part that's kind of slow, but not that great. And it just kind of plays the same shit over and over with this really, really cheesy circus music riff. The lyrics are dumb, the atmosphere, like I said, sounds like circus music. But the worst thing about this is that, like, Blaze was already kind of singing boringly on the verses, but the chorus repetition on this song is ridiculous. And the chorus itself sucks ass, so Blaze is just saying, "Don't you think I'm a savior? Don't you think I can save you? Don't you think I could save your life?" And for some reason, Steve thought, let's repeat that fucking 1,000 times and fill the entire song with that. They cut it down for like a radio single, because this was actually a single too, and they cut it down to like 4 minutes. So, like, more than half of this song is just chorus repeats and stupid shit that goes nowhere. Then we have another kind of weaker song, Lightning Strikes Twice. It just starts bizarre with, like, the riffs in there sounding really weird, and Blaze sings terribly over top of it. Like, he tries to follow the measure as if Steve, like, forced him to write or, like, sing along with this really generic melody. And I pretty much blame Steve for this song's problems. Once we get all past the rocky, boring stuff, it actually gets to a pretty cool new verse. It's more up-tempo and cool, more like classic 80s Maiden. And the chorus actually isn't too bad. I kind of like the high notes in there. But a lot of the song is just boring. It takes forever to get to certain, like, interesting sections. And the part that's good is, you know, good, but the parts before that are really, really, really shit. So I think it's a pretty decent song, but you have to get through a lot of boring stuff. Then we have the absolute best song on the album, The Clansmen, which I consider the epic on the album. This song has everything you would want from an Iron Maiden epic, and it's incredible. The Clansmen is based on, like, the Scottish Revolution during, like, medieval times, stuff that the movie Braveheart is based on. In fact, a lot of lines in the song are kind of based on that, especially the second chorus, where Blaze says, "No, we won't let them take anymore." There's a lot of really great guitar work, especially in the intro, that gives this really, really great Scottish vibe, with, like, this acoustic bass. But then when the song starts, like, picking up the pace, still in that melodic intro, like, where Blaze comes in and starts singing, that riff right there is so epic. And then I love when Blaze starts singing Fierce, when he says, "It's a right to believe and the need to be free. It's time when you die without asking why. Don't you see what they do? They're grinding us down." The lyrics in the song are incredible, and it shows Steve Harris actually writing poetically, with musically and lyrically. He's really, the band's firing on all cylinders in this song. Then when the song gets heavy, it is incredible. They're just screaming freedom and then playing this really crazy guitar riff. Everything's sped up. And they kind of repeat what they said in the intro for, like, the verse and the chorus. But it's just done so tastefully. The riffs in there are really crazy. It's so energetic. And that's what's so great about this song, is that the entire time it's just so interesting. It's like impossible to get bored with this. And then at the very end, they do the freedom part again. They keep chanting the freedom. And then Yannick, I believe it is, plays this, like, really cool lead melody over the top of the main riff. Incredible song, and easily one of the best songs of the Blaze era. When Two Worlds Collide, a very weird song. The intro sounds like pop rock at the time or something. It just sounds really weird. I think Blaze sounds pretty decent on the song, but the problem with the song is that it's Steve Harris stuff again, where you have some pretty decent stuff. The verse just sounds kind of awkward, especially the lyrics. But the chorus is really catchy and punchy. I like that. But then you get to this middle section with some cool melodies and riffs and great guitar solos. Day starts the solo section, then goes to Yannick, and there's just so many amazing lead melodies intertwining them. But then it feels like the song just starts dragging forever, and it gets really boring. And you get to this, like, final chorus when Blaze starts singing really, really bad. Then we have a really underrated song, The Educated Fool. This, Clansmen, and Future Real, I believe, are like the real highlights of this album. A lot of the rest of it is just kind of filler. This one is usually considered filler, whereas in like, I've not really heard that many people talk about it. Like, not many people say it's like shit or it's really good or anything. It's just no one talks about it. But this song is actually really cool. It has a lot of Steve Harris-ness, like, oh, we start with a melodic intro that sounds weird, a song with a really dumb title. This song, I believe, is about, like, atheism or something like that. Like, you start with believing stuff, and then you go to, like, college, and then you become educated, and you think you know everything about the world. I think one of the best things about this whole song, though, is Blaze Bayley sings it incredibly. Especially when you get out of that melodic intro, the verse sounds really badass. The riffs in it are great, it sounds really epic, and Blaze's singing is incredible. The pre-chorus is incredible. It has this really great intricate guitar riff, and Blaze is singing so fierce. The chorus is really unique too, where it just sounds kind of weird at first because it sounds very slow tempo and awkward, but like they all sing together, the chorus. And then the middle section is incredible. There's all these melodic guitar lines, and the guitar solos are incredible. This song really has a great payoff. It's sort of long, but it's long for a reason, where it doesn't like plod along like a lot of these other songs that just reprise parts that don't need to be. This song goes through the motions that it needs to and adds a bunch of cool ideas. The entire time, it's an interesting song. Then we have Don't Look To the Eyes of a Stranger. This song took me the longest time just to even listen to it because the intro is fucking awful and just so cringy. But then when you get into it, the verse actually doesn't sound too bad. The riffs in there are pretty cool. But Blaze is just kind of singing stupidly. You get to the chorus, which just sounds like the intro again. It sounds like shit. And I believe the song only has like one verse and then one chorus. It's just kind of weird. But the verse so far is good, the rest of it's shit. Then we get to this really, really bad middle part where it's really slow, and Blaze just keeps saying, don't look to the eyes of a stranger. And it's like, oh god, now we have Don't You Think I'm a Savior all over again. It's like, Jesus, like, this is just as bad as Angel and the Gambler. And then right when you think that, it's like they keep building up to something. They keep getting louder and more fierce. And they go into one of the coolest Iron Maiden breakdowns ever. It's super fast, and they're playing this ridiculously intricate guitar riff. The bass playing in this section is absolutely astounding. First you have a guitar solo from Yannick and then Dave complement each other perfectly. It reminds me a lot of like the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son solo section because it's just so punchy and like kick-ass. But other than that, the song is just tripe, and it takes forever just to get to something interesting. But hey, at least the whole ending section has something cool to it. Then we have Como Estas Amigos, which I believe translates to like, hello my friends. And it kind of sounds like a goodbye song, because this is the last song Blaze would sing with the band. And he, like, the lyric in the chorus is like, if we lived for 100 years, amigos, no more tears, or something like that. I think this had to do with like the Mexican War or something like that. I can't remember what war it has to do with. It's just kind of like a slow ballad. It's decent. I'd say definitely the chorus is the most memorable part, but the verses are really boring, and Yannick's solo's not that great. It just kind of plods along. So that's Virtual 11. Definitely a half-assed album, but there are some very, very good gems on it, and this is one of those albums where I wouldn't say it's completely all shit, and I think a lot of people are really overlooking some really good shit if they're saying that. But this is one of those albums you gotta just kind of do a once over, but pay close attention to each song, pick out the songs you want, and then move on.